Yeah, it's quite amazing here, obviously. This is Pax Europiana, as you know. Peace in Europe, and peace is obviously here in this December setting in Perast. It's very nice. Normally it's not allowed to drive here, but here it's now December and there's just a little bit of traffic, so I will go very careful. And it's actually allowed, so I'm not doing something indecent. I just show you all this beautiful city and I show you how it is in Perast. And it's ready for the European Union. I think you will agree. This is very beautiful. We would be silly to reject it. It's nice. And to have luxury restaurants, beautiful hotels. Here's the Perast. It's basically a Catholic city, a Venetian city, and it was Austrian for some time, and here everybody is impressed by what's going on, and they all say hello. Perast, 5-star, very nice. This is the old town. This is Perast. It's probably the most beautiful of all coastal towns, but there's about a lot of competition in the Adria. I'm aware of that. That's the restaurant I was just eating. Somebody jogging. The main square, and here extremely beautiful Perast. We had actually our children here baptized, so it's quite a special place. I like it a lot. This is Lovchen. I just made a tweet for the Lovchen to be the symbol of national unity and to have a European consensus government and to make 2024 possible. We can wait another 50 years outside and nothing will be fundamentally improving. The EU will also move on and the differences will only be bigger. And so it's much better inside. And it's beautiful enough, you know, who can have something against this beautiful country? It's absolutely nice. And by the way, it was always Rome, then Venice, then shortly France in the Revolutionary Wars, and then the Austrians had it until the end of World War I, and only then it was connected and occupied basically by Serbia. So that's the truth. So let's not really put it in any kind of box with Serbia. It's not belonging there, and it's an amazing country. It's NATO member, it has the euro, it has fulfilled all our requests in foreign policy. It has attracted billions of foreign investment, has transformed the country, the regulatory system, the economic and the social conditions. But you know, obviously everything can only work really fine in the European Union because there we have much more cohesion, we have much more funding, we have all the regulatory access, and we can be very successful together. So I call for Perast, for the Kotor Bay, and for the whole of Montenegro to be in the European Union, because they made it everything right. In every country, I'm just having to check here that I don't makes everything correct. Like for example, joining NATO, joining the sanctions against Russia for the Crimean annexation. When a country makes everything right, like about everything. They clean up the economy, they are strict to money laundering, they are the best in reducing corruption, they have changed the government in 2020, and everything that you wanted they have done. And now I think it is good timing. I have to switch on the light because in Montenegro you really need a light all the time. That's absolutely important when you drive, otherwise the police stops you and asks you 30 euros. And that's not perfect. So I don't blame that everything is already perfect in Montenegro. That would be too much to ask and too much to say. Given the 100 lost years it had in this political turmoils of the Balkans since 1919, 1918 and before, obviously. It is, of course, since 1914. The whole region is in permanent turmoil and in crisis modus. It has to come to quiet. Since 2007 this country is now in NATO. That is very good, and it should be also in the EU very soon. We can of course wait for another 200 years like the French want, and yes, that is, I don't know, maybe 20 years, whatever Macron decides, because he is the president of Europe, because everybody else seems a bit helpless. But I say no. I say 2024 is absolutely possible. We have Biden as the president. We have now Olaf Scholz as the chancellor. We have hopefully a different French president, because I really don't like Macron. This Valérie Perast seems to be decent. She can be the next Chirac, who was the only French president who was really pro-European in, I think, ever. I was the Les Étudiants avec Chirac, I remember, in 95, and he was then delivering, you know, in 2004 when it mattered for the Europeans. He was making a lot of other confused things, but many people might say he was right on Iraq and other things, yeah. But he was at least good for the EU and for the NATO enlargement of Eastern Europe, and this is what really matters for me most, yeah. This is what matters. And now Montenegro and North Macedonia and Albania, they should have been in the EU and NATO. We lost a lot of time now with all our complications, but at least we have achieved this, and Montenegro absolutely is ready for the EU in 2024. And actually it's very beautiful, and so to get it in is for me an absolute priority now, and I wanna work on that one intensively for the next 2 years, not to create a traffic accident. I'm driving too slow for the Montenegrinians, obviously. I'm always driving slow, by the way, but I'm in generally a traffic obstacle for most people. They think that I'm driving too slow, and I shouldn't also make the videos while I'm driving. I know that, so I will not do that. I will now make a show stop in order not to annoy everybody too much. And that is very good, my plan, very good. You see, this is amazing cultural heritage, and this is an UNESCO protected bay. Oh yeah, now they let everybody pass. I think we can enter the traffic again. I plan to go to Kotor now and to show you this beautiful way how to really drive. And yes, it's a bit improvised. I should maybe learn how to make videos while driving or avoid that. That's all possible. But now I decided to do it, and I try to do it. It's the most beautiful bay of the world in my view. You drive all along this bay for 25 kilometers in one direction. And you know, it is the Austrians did it, by the way. I don't say that we did a lot of good things, but at least, you know, they tried to have decent infrastructure and decent governance. Of course, it was an imperial project. I don't defend that, but of course, you know, the Adria was in competition between the Austrian and the Italian Empire, and obviously Italy was very much governed also by the Habsburg. It was not, you know, the whole idea that in the 19th century to talk about states, it was families and their imperial projects, dynasties like the Habsburgs. And I forgot what the name of this Piedmont family was, but nevertheless, yeah. This is Orachovac, yeah. Let's forget history, never forget history, but let's forgive. And let's unite Europe in peace in the structures we have. It's called NATO and EU, and it's decent, and it's working, and it's the way to do. And yes, I think that's the way for Montenegro, and for North Macedonia, and for Albania, now united in the European Union in 2023. And they are all very beautiful countries, and you know, it could be, of course, much better infrastructure and public services, and this is municipal public services especially is what the EU is very good in. Now they will do that in Tirana, Skopje, and Kosovo. It will be all cleaned up, and one day also for Serbia, because I'm the first one to say Serbia and the EU, yes, after Vucic, and after they have aligned their foreign policy, adopted the euro and joined NATO. You know, we don't need a revanchist power we're aligned with Russia in the European Union. It's actually impossible, because we are a political union. We are not a perfect political union, but we are a political union in the making, and we definitely need to unite even further our political unification in foreign policy action. And then when you take in somebody who is basically a proxy of Russia, that makes no sense. So all other 5 countries have to join the EU, but Bosnia and Kosovo first NATO in the decisive year of 2024, and maybe 23 we can do it faster, it's not a problem for me. But the 2 countries in NATO and the 3 countries in EU, that's the agenda for the first Biden term, or for the Ursula term, however you wanna call these terms, and that's very meaningful and makes a lot of sense. And then once this is done, on these important kind of key things for peace in Europe. I think the Serbian reality, because the people in Serbia, they are in constant protest already since more or less 5 years. First of all, this kind of social protest against the Vucic authoritarian regime and the social economic conditions. It is 1 out of 5 million. He said famously, when even 5 million protest against me, because that's about 5 million adults and it's about 7 million people. So 5 million is quite a lot, and he said that, and then they made this protest under that, 1 out of 5 million. And then they have these environmental scandals now, where the Chinese are basically treating Serbia as a colony. They bring Vietnamese workers to this factory, and then they have Rio Tinto as well, a lithium project which is environmental very dramatic, and a lot of other of these Russian, Chinese or other dodgy foreign projects. And that's of course a disaster that people are protesting. And yeah, hopefully there will be some kind of general resistance consensus against this kind of Vucic authoritarianism, pro-Russian, pro-China, selling out and destroying European Serbia and blocking. Because I want to explain it again, nobody can join the European Union in a condition like Serbia is today. Whenever they claim that they will make it economically very successfully, like one of the 3 best countries economically in Europe, which is hilariously funny, because Switzerland and Luxembourg are 10 times the GDP, and Norway 15 times the GDP. So I don't know exactly how they will be one of the best 3. But I wish them, I wish everybody, you know, to be rich and happy. That's the whole my life's mission the last 20 years, 30 years actually, this kind of economic development question. How can countries be rich? And I say, join the free world, adopt the European regulatory framework, join America in NATO, and adopt low taxes, do decent SME-oriented economic policy, and liberalize and privatize your economies, and do the European way of economic model based on competition law, on serious governance, good governance, economic good governance, and the subsidy kind of regulation, but support also your SMEs in a decent manner. This is the way to do it, and this is prosperity, and have a good currency policy, because back to the euro, when you're highly trade integrated, you know, this is of course more for the European periphery. Back to the euro, or adopt the euro, and also have a DCFTA or join the customs union. There's various models, but this is the way for economic development. And look, this country was completely poor, and you see 5-star hotels after 5-star hotels. And let's get something wrong right here. This was Forza Mare is also a luxury hotel. I was there. This is another amazing luxury hotel, and another, and another, and another. And this was very poor. In 2002, still people have destroyed their stone houses because there were worthless obstacles here at the seaside. Yeah, and then now these are €1 million assets. And this has changed because of the political direction. Montenegro decided to go independent, to adopt the euro, to join NATO, and to aspire to be EU member. It could even be better, because it was quite turbulent the last 15 years with ups and downs, if not a great financial crisis and also these massive delays in EU accession. Because Montenegro could be in 2019, in my view, it was absolutely already possible. 2024 is now my next effort, and given that Macron is ruling Europe, it can be even longer. You know, I don't know, the next 10 years, because Montenegro will be a real big problem for the EU. It will go to Brussels and will stop the French to dominate us. They will vote with the Germans. Hey, traditionally this country was a Western ally. I know the German one. I don't know in any phase in Montenegrin history when this country would have been an Austrian or German proxy. No. They were enemies. I apologized already for this. Is Forza Mare, a fantastic one. But they were maybe Italian or French or Russian proxies, I want to remind everybody. And also, of course, you know, this part is Austrian. This was Austrian. This is another luxury hotel, top class. I was there already. Really amazing. So that's now the how many fifth last luxury hotels on this top Kotor 2? 5. It was totally poor. The people before 2008, they lived off 150 euros maybe and had nothing to eat. Yeah. There was so-called real poverty here. And still, there are a lot of poor people, unfortunately, because we are not in the European Union. By the way, also in the European Union are poor people, unfortunately, because we definitely have also to make sure that we grow faster, more economic growth, more equality, but we have achieved quite a lot. If you name any kind of political system that works better as the political union, at the European Union, I'm really at pains to find one. If you have a better concept, China, India, yeah, US. US is a very good model, no doubt, but are they better than the European Union in terms of equality and welfare? I don't doubt that. Of course, in production of wealth, definitely, and also in production of security and of global leadership. That's also an amazing palace. Wow, amazing, beautiful. Here is so much, and this is really amazing. I can just recommend everybody to come here. My video hopefully will motivate some of you to try it yourself. You know, maybe there's much better videos out there. I'm sure there's a lot of travel bloggers, and I'm actually a political economist. I'm very much for the Euro, for NATO, for SME, for low taxes, for the flat tax, for all these things. Yeah. And I'm also for peace and for Pax Europiana, obviously. This is the hospital. Some of these public services, like hospitals, of course, are much behind. And here we come to Yugoslavian residential buildings. Much needs to be renovated and reformed. But it will. We have all these capacities. We have all this experience. We will do that. And obviously, it will be all very good. But it's much easier inside here. Why? Because inside you have more redistribution of money, you have a clear regulatory framework, you have more competition, you have all these important factors, you have more control of the political elite because they are part of a European political system. Then you have all this inside the European Union, and we are building and improving it constantly. With the great financial crisis, we have gone up to really have more mechanisms like this. With the popping up corruption scandals in Romania, in Slovakia, in Malta, and in Bulgaria, which were shaking our system in these countries in the last 5 years, because we have not been vigilant enough on political corruption, and we have not really built mechanisms to supervise political corruption in member states. This we need to do. You know, in America you have the FBI. Also in America you have a lot of corruption, without any doubt, but of course well organized. So this is also important, because when it's then well organized, it's probably also not so harmful in a sense, yeah? Because you always have a link between politics and business, there is no doubt, but you can do it decently or less decently, and we have to do it better, I think. Here's the moat and the river at Kotor. We are now in Kotor, and we are entering now. I will show you Kotor. I will try to park here, and I will try to give you an overview over this amazing city, because I'm a little bit time constrained, because the sun will be setting and I'm not sure about the rain in the afternoon. So I will just give you a rush tour through Kotor. It's very beautiful, and I will do a minimal tour. Hopefully you still like it. I will make a Kotor declaration for EU and NATO membership, obviously. Euro, luckily they have already here, so I don't need to make that. But I hope that I motivated some of you to see this beautiful place yourself, and to come here and to whatever, invest, make tourism, visit, support it. When you are a powerful EU official, vote for Montenegro. It will be nice. You know, they will not come to Brussels and make a big mess, and you know, they have not this. They will not be Cyprus or we have anyhow many complicated countries. So Montenegro, Albania and North Macedonia will make our life much easier. And it's a nice package to have. Montenegro obviously can be, if we just want one, but it's much better to have all three together and to get going. Because why to lose time? This is of course security in the past, how it was provided not by NATO but by moats and this kind of beautiful castles. And here obviously you have a big traffic jam. This is one problem. They plan to have an upper ring road here, but this I don't think will be very easy to do. I'm always for upper ring roads here, but the geography is not very helpful for Kotor. You see here the walls, the ancient walls. I will show you everything, but here we are a bit stuck in the traffic. I'm not knowing exactly what is the situation. There is of course some traffic jam. Yeah, I think I made my point here. Kotor obviously was the headquarter of Austria and Montenegro, and it was in Dalmatia was the whole regional capital. And obviously now the police is hopefully not coming after me. But here there was an accident. Ah, okay, I understand. That is the reason. Now we are in the middle of a traffic jam. Yeah, okay, good. I hope nothing bad has happened. Yeah, it's obviously this loose driving is a big issue. Good. Now we are not making a big progress, but you see already Kotor. I will stop here now. I will park and I will show you Kotor then from this amazing, beautiful town, and I hope you will like it. Thanks a lot for listening to Pax Europiana. More to come, and please support Montenegro to join the European Union in 2024. Thanks a lot.